project we're going to do today that was inspired by Rachel at Roxy Creations. It is simply a time card with book page and a fussy cut flower and some decorative paper, a label, and I did stamp a little bit around the card and did some distress ink around the edges, and I covered the back of it with some paper so you could have some nice writing space. So all you need for this project is some time cards. If you don't have time cards, you can use just regular cardstock. These time cards that I have measure 8 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. Okay, so I've already covered the backs. They have a red side and a blue side. It really doesn't matter which side you use. Okay, and I used a punch. After I backed the card, I used a punch to put little decorative corners on there. So what you need is book page. Any book page will do. Some stencils. I actually used this stencil here and some modeling paste and let this dry on there, and then dipped it in some watered down vintage photo. I did the same thing on this book page, only I used this stencil. These stencils, I'm not sure where they came. I'm sure I've got most of them from Amazon, but I don't have a brand name on this one. This, of course, is a Tim Holtz stencil. And for the rest of the book pages, I used these stencils here, just randomly inked some of the pages just to add some more interest. Rachel had really cool antique papers that were very brittle. They look so awesome. I don't have anything like that. These are vintage book pages, but I just juiced them up a little bit with some stenciling, and we'll use those. Okay. You also need an assortment of labels. You need some fussy cut flowers. I actually cut out all these on my Cricut because I do not like to fussy cut. And then I just got some pieces of samples of decorative paper that we will also use. So I'm going to put this stuff aside. And we'll take one of our cards. And place it any way you want to on either side. Because I have this paste on this side, I'm going to use that. Okay, so we'll just put some glue stick down on there. These are really, really easy to do. You could actually mass make. And I think they're actually neutral enough to use in any journal. But you could also make them themed. Put that right there. I want a little bit of the time card showing all the way around. And then we'll just trim that off. Now Rachel wrapped hers around to the back. I'm going to trim mine off. Okay. I'm using glue stick. If you want a more permanent hold, I would use a wet glue. I'm actually, when I finish all of mine, I'm going to stitch around them just to give it extra security. Okay, so the next thing is to pick a piece of paper. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to grab one. Let's grab this purpley one. Figure out where you want to place that. I'm going to give that a little crease. I'm going to tear that down the edge. Ink the edge. And on this one, I tore it. And I like that look rather than it going straight across, but you could leave it straight across. So I'm just going to tear this. Ink that torn edge. And then I'm going to glue that down. All right, and just kind of I have that one. I have this one. Sometimes it's really hard to choose. Okay, I think I like him. Have a little bit of purple in there. So let's get him glued down. All right, now let's find a label to use on this one. Got some purple stamps here. Let's see how that looks. Yep, that's the one. So there's that one. I mean, these are just so incredibly simple, yet so beautiful. All right, let's do another one. And I'm going to, now that you're seeing what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and just put this to music while we decorate, okay? Okay, so I've done all, I think it's 6. So we have that one. This one with the butterflies. That one. And then this one. So you can see they really did not take a whole lot of time to do. So what I'm going to do now is go through and I'm going to use this little stamp here and just kind of stamp in various places. And then I'm going to stitch around all of them after the glue has a chance to dry. And then I'll come back and show you what that looks like with stitching. So let's go ahead and just do some random stamping very lightly. Okay, that's enough of that. So once these are dried and I've had a time to go in and stitch around all of them, then I'll come back and we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm back. The glue has dried and I stitched around each of these, just random stitching. I'm not sure how well you can see it on the camera. I think those two have the same stitching. And the stitching is not necessary as long as you glue all of your edges down really, really secure. You don't need to stitch, but stitching just adds some additional texture and interest to your cards. Okay. So these are 8 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So they will fit in a full-size journal. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and that you'll give it a try. Remember, if you don't have any time cards, just use regular old cardstock and cut them to, these were 8 1/4 by 3 1/4, or cut them down to whatever size that you want. I will try to find a link to all of the stencils that I used in this project, but I do encourage you to use whatever stencils that you have. I will also leave a link to Rachel's video. It was about a year ago, I think. So you can get an idea of how she did hers. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope that you have a very blessed day. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.